I now want to do a groove using a different method. I can also do this by using the Fluting Toolpath. Now the Fluting Toolpath controls the entry and the exit of the tool by adjusting the ramping of it. So if I turn on my vectors, you can see that I've got this line in the middle. So I'm going to play around with this and get a groove machined into this. Now what I can do with this is, rather than, if I take a look here, rather than doing the groove with the profile, the tool just exits the material and it leaves you with this rounded sort of edge or groove section. What you can do with fluting is remove that. So what it can do is sort of exit quite nicely and enter quite nicely. So if we go to Fluting Toolpath and let's select a tool first of all. So I'm going to use exactly the same tool, let's say a 90-degree V-bit. Now with the fluting, use a form tool. If you use an end mill, it won't really work properly. So you need to use a V-bit, a ball nose, or any type of form tool. Click select, then enter a finished depth. Let's do this, let's say 40 thou like before. And I'm going to turn off my end flute, just so you can see what's going on. So at the moment I've got my start flute, which is a linear, which basically means straight, and it's going at a length of 100%. So what's going to happen is it's going to be 0 there, so 0 depth, and then come down to 100% there. 100% is the 40 thou of the depth. So I'm going to leave this open because I'm going to need to change it. So let's simulate that. And you can see that it's just slowly coming down to that depth. And then it's exiting the material like it would when it was doing the normal groove. Now, what if I want this to be nice and smooth, maybe down to about there, do the full depth and then come out there like it does at this end. Now what I can do with that, maybe enter a length of 40. So what this is going to do, it's going to slowly come down until it gets to 40% of the length of this line, and then it's going to be at full depth. Then I'm going to use a linear end flute, and then when it gets to 40% that is left of the line, it's going to start exiting. So if I calculate that, and then let's delete the simulation. Let's just simulate all of the toolpaths so you can see it. You can see I get this nice transition. So it's coming down until it gets to 40%, which is the full depth. Then it's coming along and then it's coming back out. So that's how you get this nice transition, and it looks quite cool. Now you can also do these using a curve or your own curve. So if I do a curve, if I zoom in, you won't really see it that well on this because it's quite a small sort of groove. But what will happen is it will slowly merge into each other. So it gives you basically a curved effect rather than it just coming straight out. So if I simulate that, you can sort of make it out where it's just curving in and out. But that's how you basically have the tool going in and out, and you stop this sort of thing from happening if you need to do that. Now you can get quite creative with this, because what you can also do is use a control vector for it. So let's say that I wanted to use a tool, let's say quite a large ball nose, let's say a 1/4 of an inch ball nose. And I'm going to turn on the vectors, and I'm going to use this vector that I've created up here. So it's just basically a half of a circle, and then I've mirrored it and joined it. So let's select that as a control vector. Click select, that becomes selected. Then I can select the vector that I want to machine and then calculate now. What this is going to do, it's going to project that onto this line, and it's going to basically squash it down to a depth of 40 feet. So if I delete the simulation and then simulate again, you can see it's slowly coming up and down. And that's where you can get quite creative with the fluting tool. So that's how you do grooves with the fluting tool.